Hi, I'd like to welcome you to part 2 of the Source Code Diary series. We're going to go over the character sheet today. The character sheet outlines all of your character's information, equipment, skills, and so on. So let's get into that. Now, looking at the character sheet, just from the first page, you can see there's a top left slot, and that's actually going to be a space for the portrait itself. But let's zoom in and look closer at the top section of the character sheet. So here we have a couple of different things. The square on the top left, we made for you art to sort of people, so you could draw a character portrait if you really wanted to. Then there's the hit point slot. The left side is your current. The right side would be your max. Then there's TD, that's total defense. It basically has different slots to add up to the total amount of defense that you have. Initiative, who goes first, and so on and so on. Movement speed, so how many squares or blocks that your player can move. Then we have strength, accuracy, intelligence, charisma, science, constitution, dexterity, and durability. Now on the lower half of the sheet, we have some stuff that's probably recognizable. On the left side, you have name, race, gender, age, height, weight, all that extra stuff. Mets is actually the currency that we'd be using in source code. Level, experience, so your total experience. Archetype is very similar to the character type that you are. So in a fantasy game, a ranger, but in source code, more like a long shot or a vanguard. Then you have class. There are different character classes, like an alpha class, a beta class, a sigma class. Depending on the class, your character development would be a little different, but the classes are pretty much very similar to each other if they're in the same class. Faction is something that we're hoping to include further on if people are interested, but we have in there if you wanted to create your own custom player faction. And then psi pool. Psi essence is like the source of energy. The idea is that all people have, but only some can tap into it. Then, on the right side, on the top, we have the saving throws, the things that we use for certain effects, or to resist certain things. We have dodge, which is dexterity-based, mental resistance, intelligence-based, physical resistance, which is durability-based, and will resistance, which is science-based. Now, we'll go further into these later, but we just wanted to show you everything that goes on the sheet. And then underneath that, we have the attacks, the attack power, and the attack damage. The first slot includes the base that you have, then the second will include the modifier, and then you would have the total. And you could have different modifiers, different bonuses to it, which will add up. And in the completed character sheet and the final version that we put out, we'll label all this for you as well. Then at the bottom, we put equipment, which had the attack bonus, the damage that it would do, the critical, the range, the type, ammunition used for it, how much you have of it, weight, so on and so on. So we wanted to make it so that you had the stuff that you were at least more interested in using, at least right there, instead of having to flip back and forth through pages and pages. Now we get to the second page. The second page has items and gear. It has your total carry weight. It has a slot for talents and abilities. But we'll go to items and gear. Basically, we want to make it easy and concise. You have the name of the item, you have the weight of the item. You could use the extra slots for descriptions. We wanted to make it big enough that you could write more if you wanted to, but we wanted to give you space. So this next section is very self-explanatory. It's talents and abilities. We wanted to give you a space where you could write down your talents, abilities, give certain descriptions about them, ones that you gained, ones that you may have forgotten what it actually does. Just a section to keep track of this stuff for you. Then the third and final page that we're going to go over is the skills page. Now on the skills page, you have a variety of information, but it's pretty straightforward once we get into it. The first box you see right there is the checkbox. That will show if a skill that you're using is trained or untrained. There are skills that you can use untrained, and you'll be able to write them in, but you need to keep track of the skills that are trained, or else you can't actually use them. And you just check the box to show that the skill is trained. Easy as that. Now the next box is the skill name. Pretty simple. So let's use hacking as an example of a skill. The skill name would be hacking. The ability name that it would be using is intelligence. That's the skill that it uses. Now say your modifier bonus to intelligence was a 3. So that was where the 3 would go. Then the next is how many ranks you have in that skill. How many ranks you've put into it, which you get more and more as you level up. And then miscellaneous modifiers, any bonuses you could have from it. Now the final box is total skill modifier. That's the number that you would add to your roll when you're rolling to use that skill. So if I was doing the hacking skill, the total skill mod there, I'd add whatever that bonus is to my roll. And that's it. And with that, we've gone over the 3 main parts to the character sheet. These are all subject to change, and they'll probably change a little bit as we try to improve it for you guys, because in the end, this is for you. This is for you to have fun and to enjoy it. And I'd love to hear your feedback and hear from you anything you might think improve it or add on to it. Thank you, and keep an eye out for part 3, where we'll go over races, classes, skills, archetypes, and a little bit more.